back some major memories. That brings back some major memories. I am so glad you chose that song. This is number three in the marathon today. We just finished up 2 major classes. We learned how to make wire wrapped rings, and we just learned how to sublimate. Now we're going to learn how to bling. If you haven't been to the other ones, let me introduce myself. I am Karen Baxter. I am Ms. Creative CEO. I am your empowerment coach, your mindset mentor, and your craft business bestie. I have been a national instructor with Michaels for a while, and they have partnered with me. I love them. They love me. We partner together and do amazing things. And some of those is I'm bringing 4 amazing women of color to the platform on Juneteenth today to celebrate creativity and how we all are the same and love everything. Crafty, how about that? Okay, so let's get to it. Today, the next person we have is Miss Felicia Nolan. Hi.
Hello.
How you
Hello.
doing, girl?
I'm still
Hey, girl.
good. Yeah.
Hey, girl. Yes.
Hey, everybody.
This is one of the bling queens that I know. I know 2. This is the loose bling queen, and then I know the t-shirt bling queen. Okay, but we got Felicia in here, and she is with Deco Muse Boutique. Deco Muse Boutique. And so she does amazing bling work. Amazing. And then she also is a supplier for major stuff. But let's talk about your work. Let's find out a little bit about you. Let's find out a little bit about you and what you do, why you do it, and how long you've been doing it.
Okay. All right. So first of all, happy Juneteenth. It's a celebration. Thank you, Karen. So I am, as Karen said, Felicia Nolan, owner of Deco Muse Boutique, 5-star shop on Etsy, and also mydecomuse.com. So I started out crafting 2018. Saw a lot of things out there, started with t-shirts, but eventually made my way over to bling. Saw a lot of shoes, but decided I wanted to, figure out and do my own thing. I didn't really realize that I had a creative side until I started to work with bling, with rhinestones, and with the shoes. And so from there, I kind of created a couple signature looks, and it has gone to the moon over the past couple of years. In fact, this past year alone, just in 2021, I've completed over 180 pair of shoes for customers. Yeah. So this is my baby.
180. Well, yes, let me just say this. You're about to do 181. Because I
got you.
Okay. So, I gotta have it. The girl, you're right, Tamika. It is awesome. So what brought you into blinging? Why do you love it so much? What does it do?
So as I said, not everyone can bling. It takes a lot of patience, and you have to be in the right mindset. So I started in 2018 doing this, but I was still active duty military. So I retired last year, but in the midst of that, I have a day-to-day struggle with depression and anxiety and a lot of insomnia. So rather than succumbing to those negative things, I found a way to put my energy into other things, and that happens to be bling. It takes a lot of practice, focus, and heart to do it. And so instead of staying up all night, when I'm going through those bouts of insomnia, just stressing, I put that into the shoes. And I love the creative work that comes out of it when your heart is in the right place.
I love it. And your heart is always in the right place, because everything I have ever seen you touch always looks amazing. There's not a stone out of place, so to speak.
Right.
I've seen stuff that just not quite right, with gaps and all of this stuff, but the way you do yours, it's like, how does she do that? It's amazing. It's amazing. I love our artistic community, because you guys, all of you guys out there, you guys are just amazing with the things that you guys can do. I appreciate that. So, okay. So, and another thing I appreciate is the fact that you disclose that you do battle with insomnia and depression and anxiety. Thank you for being so transparent, because a lot of us deal with that. And I say us, we all deal with that on some level. And so, like I say, Kylie, crafting is therapy. It is therapy. I call it heart and soul work. It comes from us. And so it's therapeutic. So thank you for sharing that and letting someone else out there that may see this know that it's okay and that you can still be a creative and do what you do. Okay, I appreciate that. I really do. So I'm gonna pop off of here and you tell us it's all about you now, girl.
Okay. Oh, wow. Spotlight. Okay.
I know, spotlight.
Awesome. Well, again, thank you all for joining me. First, we talked about blinging out shoes. So this is kind of my custom or my signature design on any Converse. You'll have the toe, the size, and then the custom mix on the size. So I kind of created these mixes a couple of years ago, and that's part of the fun of it. Also being a retailer, I can create my own mixes. So the one that you saw on the posters and the announcements, it kind of looks like this. This is phase 2 of it. We start with the toe and then the sides. And then I get the fun part of creating my own custom mixes that go along with it. So I can truly say that these are custom items. So, any design or any color that the customer may desire, I can pretty much go on the shelf, put a custom mix together so that shoe is one of a kind. So what we're gonna do.
Wait a minute, wait, hold on. Bring the purple shoe back. Just let's have a moment of silence for the shoe. I know I've been talking about this shoe since I saw it. But y'all look at that. Look at the exquisite detail.
Yeah, the customer. So this is kind of a peacock theme for a that a customer requested. Yeah, so I decided to make a demo of it.
They talking about me in the chat. That's okay though. I don't care.
There was some strategy behind that purple.
Right. She know what she's doing. She know what she's doing. Okay, you got it.
Okay. All right. So in the spirit of Juneteenth, I decided to do something a little different. So what we're going to work with here is a black Converse, but we're going to do one of my favorite colors, which is a medium cyan rhinestone, glass flatback rhinestones. Now you can find the Swarovski stones at Michael's as well in the light cyan, light red. So this is just an alternative to that. So what I have here is the SS12 stones. And then what we're going to have also is you always want to have a few filler stones because blinging, laying rhinestones is not an exact science, so it's not always going to be perfect, and you may have to have some smaller stones in there to fill in the spaces. So I gave you a little tutorial here, just a little illustration to show you a couple of the more popular techniques that we have when you're laying your rhinestones. You have the honeycomb, which is where the stones kind of interlock. You have the linear or the grid method, which is where they're exactly that, side by side and on top of one another. And then you have the scatter, where you just kind of throw them out there. What you saw with my pearls on this shoe was the scatter method. But on the toe, we're going to use a mix of the honeycomb and the linear because the shape is not straight, it's round. So you're not always going to be able to interlock as perfectly as you would like. All right, so to get started, to prep the shoe, you can use anything simple like a light sandpaper or a fingernail file. What you want to do with the Converse or any canvas shoe that has the rubber on the top, it also has a protective layer on the top that you want to kind of scuff off and get off of there, because if you don't, once you lay your glue, the stones will not stick. So we just kind of, if you're doing this along with me, just kind of I take the fingernail file. I got these from the Dollar Tree. Sandpaper I did find at Michael's. But you basically just scuff the shoe. And as you're going around, you'll see that it goes from shiny to dull. That's letting you know that you're getting all of that outer coating off of the shoe. All right. And once it's buffed out, probably about 30 seconds, just go around and make sure that you don't see anything shiny on the shoe anymore, okay? And then once you do that, you can take something like 70 or 99% alcohol or 100% acetone to just kind of get the rest of that chemical off of the shoe before you get started. So you just need a small amount, wipe the top of the shoe. You'll see some of that residue coming off. And then you're still going to have that dull color. So once you do that, we are ready to get started. So what I have here is a couple of the trays from Michaels, and then a couple of different adhesives. I know everyone has their own preferences, but I wanted to give you a couple options here, just in case you had some questions. So these, the Super Tight and the Gem Tack, are available at Michaels. And also the Liquid Fusion is available at Michaels. However, you have to buy it online. They don't have it in store. Okay, and this is my glue of choice here for today.
Tyler wants to know, would 70% alcohol work?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, yes, ma'am.
So yours of choice, can we see the front of it again?
Oh, this was Dollar General, just regular acetone. I've even gotten to the point, you know, in a pinch, I'll use fingernail polish remover. So basically you just want that chemical to deglaze the top of the shoe.
Okay, and show us your glue, your favorite glue. That one in the front. Yeah. Infusion. Is that liquid
fusion? You may see it if you have the older bottle. It's in a red, black, and orange bottle. Same same product. They just rebranded, and you can find this online at Michaels.
Okay.
All right.
She asked. Cheryl wants to know why that glue is your favorite. Is there a reason?
Yeah, I like the consistency of the glue. I was for a long time a E6000 fan, but with the harmful chemicals and the risk to your health, I had to go on to something else. And Liquid Fusion is the closest consistency to that. With the Gem Tack and the Super Tight, it's looser, so it takes a little bit longer to get tacky. And when you're doing something like a shoe, I prefer the glue to be tacky right off right from the beginning, because when I get in here, I'm ready to just go. Now this may, as you go along, your technique may be slow in the beginning. And so these glues may work for you, but I prefer it to, just stick and go, because my technique is a little bit faster at this point because I've been doing it so long.
Got it. Okay.
Okay. So I have my glue, I have my stones, and I have my rhinestone tool. Anything, I did put a couple on the supply list. Anything with a wax tip that's going to help you to pick up the stones, you can use to bling. Here are the trays, but this is easy as well. I use a paper plate, so that kind of helps me just grab and go. So the technique for doing a toe this is my technique. So we start here around the outer edge of the toe. That'll be your first line. Your second line is going to go across the top. So we'll go 1, 2, and then 3. And again, the main size that I'm using is the SS12. So if you guys are ready, we will start. Now I also put on there, as you go, you may want to use a small 1 ounce precision tip bottles, depending on your glue, as you get comfortable pushing the glue out, because sometimes if you're not real familiar with how fast it comes out, you can make a mess. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to start and do this first half, the bottom, just kind of show you the consistency. You don't need too much glue. You don't need a lot at all. My rule of thumb is, if once you start laying the rhinestones, if you can see the glue coming up through the sides, then you're putting too much on there. Okay.
Okay.
So we're ready. We're going to go ahead and get started. Is this a good angle?
Yep.
Okay. All right. So just kind of start at the end with my SS12s. Oh. And this first line.
Can you wash the shoe?
Yes. Now, some people recommend that you hand wash. I've put my shoes in the washing machine. I've hand washed. It really just depends on you. It really depends on your technique and your glue. So with the Liquid Fusion, with these 2 glues that I used here, you can actually hand wash and machine wash those shoes. I have some that I've had for about 3 or 4 years. They're kind of like my work shoes now, but I wash them frequently and I haven't lost the stone.
Awesome. What is the working time for the glue?
So with this Liquid Fusion, you have about 10 minutes really, but if you're in here, one of the things that I wanted to say, now, if I was here doing this by myself, I would probably just go around with the glue the whole way. I'm sorry, I said 10 minutes. I mean about 2 minutes before it starts to get really tacky. But we're going a little bit slower, so you can see that the glue is still kind of loose, but that's my rule of thumb. I'll do a line at a time. And it really depends on your method. So if you're doing like a scatter method, you can kind of figure out the area that you think you could fill within that 2 minutes and not put more glue on there, because what you don't want is once it starts to dry, you're going to have to lay more glue on top of that dry glue. And that's where you start to get that not so neat look. So you want it to be as precise as possible. So slow is better and more precise as you get your technique down. Now with this first line, I'm going side by side, tight, not as tight as I can go, but as little space as possible in between, if that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm. It's out of frame. It's out of frame. Okay.
Okay. All right.
There you go. Perfect.
Okay.
Perfect.
All right. So that's the first half of that. Then we're going to go around to the other side. And just keep throwing me questions while we're working, if you guys have any.
Yeah, she tries to have them touch, you know, if that's the method, because there's different ways. Yeah. Right.
Especially around this middle part, I will leave a little bit of a gap, and I'll show you why once we hit that part. So, okay, I'm back in the frame now. So then we'll go around to the other side. And I like the paper plate because once you start to get into your rhythm, you know, it's easier to do that, to take the plate and have them flip, and you can grab them from right here and just go, rather than the smaller trays.
There's that crafting ASMR again. Just take a watch.
Okay. And I did this intentionally. So if you can see this, I left a little bit of gap where we were missing some glue.
It's out of frame.
There we go. Okay, where we were missing a little bit of glue, but that's okay. You just take a little bit more and put there. And then depending on your tool, you just kind of spread it out a little bit.
Okay.
And that kind of gives you an idea how much glue you don't need. You don't need to put the whole bottle on there to make it stick. They will stick. If you get that surface clean and get the protective coating off of the top, those stones will stick with no problem.
Can you, I've never seen that tool before. What's the other tip used for?
For just like I just showed you, anything to move the stone. So like if I have one, I laid it and I needed to move it. Can you see that? This kind of helps you to place them. Because you're not always going to lay them perfectly. So this kind of helps you to lay them in there and line them up straight.
Okay. Can you glue with the hot fix stone if that is all you have, but not using the hot fix tool, but using the liquid fusion?
You can. You know, it's not preferred or not the norm, but hey, you make in this rhinestone world, you make your own rules. So as you said, the hot fix stones already have a layer of glue on the back, but it's not going to prevent you from laying it with another type of glue. Whatever glue you're using, you can still use those hot fix stones with no problem. The glue will not activate it.
Danita, you better go run and get a charger. She's talking about her thing is dying. You can't miss this now.
Is that better? Can you guys see better here this way?
Yeah, that's good. Okay. Yeah,
all
that's
right.
good.
All right.
What's
Yeah,
the name of the tool?
This is a Rhinestone Picker. You can actually find this at mydecomuse.com. If you look in the other section, I believe they just sold out this morning, but I do have a new batch that'll be uploaded today. And speaking of that, everything in the shop is 25% off through midnight tomorrow, no code required. So this tool sells for $7, I think. So you can get it for under $5.
So y'all heard that. That's her gift to you guys on her website. Her gift is that she's giving you 25% off the entire website until midnight tomorrow. So you can go and get, you know, the little picker tool.
So, okay. Can you all see that?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so now we start with our second line, and you start in that same corner. And I'm gonna go all the way around, so I'm gonna start to pick it up a little bit. I don't know where we are with time.
Yeah, pick it up a little bit.
Okay.
You can explain other stuff. How long does it take to do a pair of shoes, a whole pair of shoes?
It really depends on the style and your technique and how fast you are. So the purple shoe that I showed you initially, it would take about 6 hours per shoe. I have it down to about an hour and a half total per shoe. That's the rhinestones and the pearls laid on the shoe.
Okay.
But again, it's all about your technique and the size of stones that you use and everything. I prefer a smaller stone because I think it gives it more of a polished look when you're done.
Right, AL, because let me tell you something. We'll still be on that half of that first line with me. Trying to get it straight.
So you see, I went from the honeycomb right here in the middle because, like I was telling you, it's a curved. It's a curved. There we go. It's a curved shape, and so we went from the honeycomb where they were interlocking to on top of one another, which is the grid method. And then as we get back around to the straight side, we'll go back into the honeycomb.
Okay.
Just to kind of keep it neat.
The tool that did you make that what it's resting on?
No, this is a tumbler tool that I found on Amazon. And it's basically just 2 pieces of, what do you call this, the foam?
Yeah, the pool noodle.
Yeah, laid on some little metal brackets, real basic. These shoes do get heavy once you get into it. So that's one of the things with bling as well. So you always want to be mindful of your health. You know, your posture is big. Make sure it's, sitting up in a chair. We as crafters, we know that anyway. But this is not a lot of movement. So you want to make sure that you're taking frequent breaks, finding ways to protect your wrists. Like sometimes I'll rest on this to protect my wrist instead of holding the shoe up for, 2 to 3 hours at a time, depending on how you're working. So we go from 1, 2, 3, and then we go back across the top.
That's some good stuff. And that's great that you're telling people you got to think about your health. We get so caught up, we get so caught up in what we're doing. We'll sit for hours at the table and not stretch or drink water or things like that. We're so into what we're doing, but we got to do better.
I find when I'm in the right frame of mind, when I'm taking care of myself, I'm taking breaks. That's another way. We talk about your heart being right, but your head has to be right too. So taking on projects and, stressing about, I have to get it out in this time or that time, it's probably not going to come out as perfectly as it would as if you were in the right space. Exactly. So head and heart space is very important.
They work together.
Yes, ma'am. My coach taught me that.
I wonder who that is.
They call him his creative CEO.
Yes.
Yep. So
who out there, drop it in the chat, is thinking about doing this as a business? Yeah, Raina, I forget to eat all the time. It's ridiculous. Nobody in the chat, are you thinking about just doing it for, okay, we forget me, but I'm gonna stay in my lane, right? Tamika, she's gonna stay in my lane.
Come on, Tamika, you can make cakes and shoes, they go together.
I mean, it kind of do because you're doing wedding cakes.
Yes.
And so you can do the wedding shoes, only if it doesn't interfere with your wedding cake business.
That's right.
Okay.
They complement.
You've done baby shoes before. Okay. He wants some bling shoes. Who is he? Who, Doug? Orion, I used to do bling tumblers. They are time consuming, but relaxing. Yeah. I want to expand my glitter tumbler line and add bling tumblers. Okay, Ziva. You do shirts, but these shoes might not work with me. You never know until you try. Look at me. That's the enabler in me.
Right.
Adrian says she used to do baby shoes. Yeah, Tanya, she is definitely a pro. You've done coasters, Marquita. Okay. I've done a pair before. It's been a while. Yeah. This is one thing I have not tried. This is one of the things you might do. That would be a great idea. The sunglass frames. Oh, girl. That would be a great idea.
Yes, it would.
On average, what does a pair of shoes fully blinged out cost you?
I'm not going to say on average. It really depends on the style, but I will tell you that a fully blinged out pair of Converse, let's just say women's size 7, is going to start at $300.
Boom.
And if you think about it, that includes the shoe. That's going to include everything, the material and everything. So that's the starting price. And it goes upward from there.
I mean, you got to think about it. You're spending, 6 hours doing something.
Right.
And, depending on the size of the shoe will depend on how many stones you have to use. Right. And so it's a lot. It's time consuming, but the result is so worth it. It's so worth it.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, sunglass frames. That might be something I might be able to do. I might. That's a small area because I'm instant gratification. It needs to be done, and I can't. No, I need you to hurry up. So I might be able to do sunglass frames.
Well, see, these shoes.
Money for shoes.
Say again.
I said I'll just send you the money for the shoes.
Gotcha. I got you. See, it was either be up doing this at night or shopping on Amazon. So hey, why spend money when you can make money?
That's right. That's right. That makes sense to me. Now, no lie, Tamika Bracken and Keosha Green. No lie, I'm not doing it. Okay. They're about to go down the rabbit hole. They're about to go down the rabbit hole. They are.
I don't think there's any lie in any of the glue that I'm using.
Very good. That's an inside joke, y'all. Don't follow us up. I know I love her shirt too. Free to bling. I love it. Small projects are easy to do than the ones that take hours. Exactly. Is the liquid fusion glue used for the sides as well?
Yes. Yep. Yeah, so all of those glues that I showed you, you can use for the rubber and for the canvas of the shoe. I even use the liquid fusion on the full leather shoes. So one of my other signature shoes is the Air Force One fully blinged out. And this is the best product for it. Okay. So you want to deglaze it just like you do the rubber on the toe. And then you just kind of go for it. But this is a really good product.
Yes, Cheryl, if she did the whole shoe a pair of shoes on average is about 6 hours, she said. Let's see what else we got. Can you use it on tumblers?
Yes. I don't know if you can see the black tumblers behind me.
Let me
I should pull them down. I'm sorry.
Spotlight. Yep, y'all see them back here in the back.
And you always want to make sure you use the right glue on those, especially with the black, because what you don't want is once the glue cures or dries, for it to turn white underneath. So liquid fusion, the super tight, any of those work well. Things you want to be careful of is like if you use the Gorilla Glue, be careful of that. The Bob's 2-part epoxy is really good for your tumblers as well.
Y'all see that football over there in the case that she did? Gorgeous.
Yeah, my hubby let me borrow that for the day.
He like, I want it back right after.
Yeah, I'm sure he's watching. Like, you gotta bring me my stuff back.
All right. Oh goodness. Lauren says she's tried. She hasn't done shoes, but she's blinged other things. Does she ever do other things on her design, like vinyl. Have you ever put vinyl on top? I don't know how you could put vinyl on top of bling, but can you do that?
You put the vinyl down first.
Okay.
Yep. So yeah. So you would press, like you use like your heat vinyl, press it on the side, and then you lay, it's almost like a cheap thing. And then you, whatever the design is, and then you lay your bling on top of that. So it enhances whatever that vinyl is underneath.
Can you sell blinged Converse on your website, or is it a situation where you need permission to sell their items?
You don't, because you are enhancing their product. So you don't need permission or anything to sell the blinged out Converse. Now, if you were selling blank, just brand new Converse, that would be an issue. But because you are embellishing those, it's not a problem.
Y'all see how quickly she did that? And that thing looked like it was made like that, right? Look at it. Wow.
So that's your red shoe. And then I could, looking right here, it's like I said, it's not always going to be perfect, but I would probably take a small SS6, because I'm a perfectionist, and put one more right there. Whoever asked about the end of that tool is also good for when you're laying small stuff. So this is a good tool for like nail techs and things. So when you have those tiny stones, it's good for that as well. So there you are. See
that is beautiful. The stone, the main stone size that you've been using was a 12?
SS12, yes.
Okay, and the tiny one was a 6.
Was a 6, yeah. So those are your filler stones.
Okay, Tamika says she's going to Michael's to get some liquid fusion and find something at home to bling. Since I have all these rhinestones for nails, that makes sense. Utilize them.
Yeah.
What's that stones? Okay, I just went to Michael's and forgot the glue. Now, Adrienne is like, now she wants to bling. You know, now she wants to bling. You know what happens. We're all enablers. Look how gorgeous that is. Oh my goodness. Okay, so what's next? We like chomping at the bit.
How are we doing on time?
No, you don't have a whole lot, but show us your other ones again. Your other
these
that you've already done. Yeah, let's.
So now purple.
Yep.
And then the blue.
The blue is.
So if you were to take a class, we could do this in phases. So we could learn the sides and the toe. And then, so that's kind of like phase 1. And then phase 2 would be taking it to another level where you lay the pearls and the rhinestones together on the shoe. It gives you this sort of product.
The laces for the ribbon laces, is that just regular ribbon or something special?
No, regular ribbon from Michael's. I think it's on sale this week. I was in there yesterday, but yeah. So the 5/8 inch lace is this one here. But then, you know, a lot of times for weddings, I'll go with a thicker lace because that lace can be the make or break of the shoe. It gives it just a whole nother look. So this is a 1.5 inch ribbon that I'll take and add the buckles to it and just kind of turn it into a lace. So anywhere from 5/8 to 1.5 inches is what you want.
I love that. I love it. Okay, let me look. She gonna have me out here in these crafting streets thinking I could do this because she makes it look so easy, right, Cheryl?
You can do it. You can do
it. Okay, can you show the glue again? The 3 glues? Can you show those again? So
here's your gem tack. Gem tack, like I said, is good for the shoes, canvas, fabrics, and then your super tight. So both of these have a very loose consistency. Let me show you the difference. So you saw how the liquid fusion was thick and clear. The gem tack, it's a little bit looser and it's white, but once it dries, it'll dry clear. So you don't have to worry about, you know, it being white. And then same thing with the super tight. It's much looser. This is the more looser one out of all of them. And it takes a little bit longer for it to get tacky. So it's easier when you're blinging. I can't believe I'm wasting up all this glue. When you're, even when you're blinging, you want it to, you don't want it to
put it back in there with your finger. Just scrape
right,
it.
as soon as the camera goes off, okay? So it's a little bit looser than your clear liquid fusion.
Okay. So Ziva says we need a 12-step program because of all the classes, Michael's classes we've done over the last week. We need a 12-step
Anonymous
program. Lauren loves the purple Converse. Tanya would like to see the tumbler. Can you take it down and let us see it closer? The kid stones that come in the box are okay with this glue? The kitty stones?
The kid stones?
Yeah, I guess there's some cheaper stones that you can at the store.
Okay. Yep. So I would not recommend it. Now, I think I would say the Gem Tack and the Fusion Tight and the liquid fusion would be okay. Now, when you start getting into stuff like E6000, it's going to eat right through those stones. And so you want to be careful with she's talking about acrylic stones or resin rhinestones. Yeah. You want to be careful with those because unlike the glass rhinestones that actually have a foil back, an aluminum back, these resin rhinestones have a shiny foil back. And so if the chemical or the glue is too strong, it's going to eat right through those. And then they'll stick, but once it dries, you'll have a cloudy finish over the top of the stones. So okay. you want to avoid that. I call those my practice stones. If you're using anything from there, but for products, especially if you're selling something, you want to go more higher end because you want to give the customer what they're paying for.
Got it. How much ribbon do you usually have to have for the laces?
A half a spool. So I use about average ribbon is about 42 inches per shoe. Mm-hmm. So I can get 2 good pair out of a spool from Michael's.
Okay. The Gem Tack is not going to cloud the bling. That's why she uses it. One of her 3 that she uses it because it doesn't cloud, correct?
Correct.
What do you need to do so the glue, what do you need to do so the glue will not clog or go dry?
Keep it closed. So when I'm done with this, I'll keep it closed. If you lose the lid, find a needle or a thumbtack or something just to kind of keep the air out of there. That's what's going to cause it to clog. So you have a little bit across the top, but more importantly, like if you're pouring some glue into one of those small precision bottles, if you're using those small 1/2 ounce ones, don't put too much in there because it'll only hold for about 2 days in there before it starts to get hard. But in the original bottle, just make sure that you keep the top on and keep the air out of it.
Okay. Can you bling coasters? And if you can do you have to seal them?
You can bling the coasters. You can seal or not seal. It really depends on the glue. So any of the epoxies are really good. There's a Norman 500, or like I said, the Bob's 2-part epoxy are really good. You don't need to seal those. I've never tried to do a tumbler or a mug with the liquid fusion yet, so I don't want to say yes, but there are plenty of products out there. The clear coat spray paint is really good. That just takes 1 coat if you absolutely have to seal it.
Okay. Can you explain quickly why Gorilla Glue is not ideal to use?
Well, I was just saying, depending on, you don't want to use a lot. So if you happen to use too much, like I was saying before, and it starts to come up underneath and on the sides of the glue, when it dries, it tends to dry and give it like a white filmy look. So it's not going to be as clean as if it dried clear. So it's going to look tacky basically. So it is ideal to use. It is a good product. You just want to make sure that you have that precision tip so you're not using too much glue.
Okay. Where on your site can they find the tool? Even though it's sold out, they know you're going to upload it. Where is it on your tool?
Look under, out as soon as we get done, under Tumblers and more. That's where you'll find additional like things outside of Bling that are on the site. So give me about 30 minutes and then I'll have those uploaded.
Okay. Did you bling your shirt, or could you bling socks? No, I don't think that's not bling. That's vinyl.
This is glitter. Yeah.
That's glitter vinyl.
Yeah, it was a last minute thing, but
probably
yes.
could if she wanted to though.
I could, but I'm gonna leave that to Gwen Wilson. She's our hot fix queen. We're gonna call her the hot fix queen.
Exactly. Can y'all drop her website unless y'all already done it and I'm missing it. Oh, she did, of course. Okay, show your Tumblr real quick.
So real quick. So we did this the other night in our bi-weekly Blingers meetup. So I just kind of threw together the scatter method. These are all resin rhinestones. So you can kind of see, so these are glass and these are resin. So a lot of people, you know, resin kind of gets a bad rap sometimes, but you know, it still gives a brilliant shine. So I don't know if you all can see that.
I mean, it's pretty. You just got to know what to use with it and to make it come out that way. So with that being said, you have a class, right?
I do.
Tell them a little bit about your class.
Yeah, so the class, I think it was uploading on the site, but a basics to bling. So a little bit more in detail on what we're doing here today. So just kind of give you an introduction to the different types of bling, the glue, and then your different techniques. And then we will go into the toe again and a little bit of the shoe. And then the more advanced class is a full out shoe. So either all bling or you can do the all bling with the pearl and rhinestone. And with that class, you get access to me. I'll have a open Zoom session for a 2-hour session the week after that class where we can kind of bling along with one another if you have any specific questions.
I love it. Y'all, if y'all want to learn about bling, if you want to learn about how to do this thing and really pump up your business and everything, you're going to want to reach out to her. Okay. Wasn't she awesome? Drop it in the chat and let her know how awesome she was.
Thank you all. Thank you.
Oh, she did it, girl. You did it. Deco Muse in the house. I love it. Felicia Nolan, you did the doggone thing, girl. I love it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Listen, they dropped it in the chat. We got one more, and that is Miss Ziva Perkins, and we're gonna learn about resin. She's gonna do a mini geode on the next class, top of the hour, 4 o'clock my time Eastern, 3 o'clock Central. Make sure they're gonna drop it one more time in the chat before we go. The link, if you haven't already signed up, make sure you go over there and sign up. And when y'all get these surveys, make sure you tell Michaels how much you enjoyed this, okay? Make sure you let them know. I appreciate you, girl. Congratulations on an amazing class. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, y'all. I'll see you in a few minutes.